The sky's the limit when you've got a good idea, and you're about to learn that aerial top dressing was a very good idea indeed. Simply put, aerial top dressing is using a plane to spread fertiliser over the ground. Originally farmers used horses to spread fertiliser on flat land, but on steep hill country it had to be done by hand. Carrying bag after bag up and down hills was time-consuming and painstaking work. Often, poor quality grass grew on hillsides after forests had been cleared. This resulted in soil erosion. Quality grass was needed to reduce the erosion so the farmer's hard work didn't disappear with the next shower of rain. In 1939, Alan Pritchard, the chief pilot of the Public Works Department, sowed grass in 90 Mile Beach using a plane. And so the seeds were sown for the idea of using a plane to spread fertiliser. Aussie James grew up in Tolaga Bay on New Zealand's east coast and had seen firsthand the erosion of the hill country around Gisborne. A family friend encouraged him to help solve the erosion problem. After World War II, there were plenty of Tiger Moth planes and Tiger Moth pilots, so Aussie James bought a Tiger Moth plane, cleverly converted the front cockpit to carry fertiliser, and so began James Aviation.
At the time that we commenced operation, the farming world was facing a rather desperate position with soil erosion and a shortage of labour on farms and decreased production. The advent of aerial work was of dramatic importance to New Zealand. And I think that the fact there was surplus aircraft and there was groups of airmen that were looking for opportunities to get involved in aviation, we joined at the right time, and I think we've done a tremendous job. We soon had 3 Tiger Moth planes top-dressing farms around New Zealand's North Island. In those times, people would gather to watch these skillful wartime pilots take a single morning to do the work that would have taken a farmer days and days of back-breaking work. Aussie gives you an idea of the impact.
There were a lot of displaced people that got out of the Air Force with a hankering to be associated with aeroplanes. We liked the smell of aviation fuel and the excitement and the end of the day devil may care type of approach that aviation people have.
A Tiger Moth plane could spread 264 kilos of fertiliser in less than 4 minutes. Reloading took just under a minute. That meant they could spread 3.5 tonnes of fertiliser in an hour. No one was going to do that by hand. With that amount of weight, the Tiger flew like a powered glider, so we had to go downhill to get anywhere, and that's why you'll find the ag strips on the top of hills. So the grass was growing better than ever, and Aussie's idea grew too. By 1953, there were 38 top-dressing firms in New Zealand, operating 160 aircraft. 146 of those were Tiger Moth planes. Like many others, Aussie James believed that a different type of plane was needed to suit the New Zealand conditions.
But this aeroplane for mobility, size, crashworthiness, and all the various things that we measure an aeroplane by, I guess most of all its ability to handle airstrips. Tricycle undercarriage is much easier to fly on airstrips with crosswinds and steep gradients and things than any other type of aeroplane.
The answer lay in the Fletcher airplane manufactured in the States and imported by Guy Robinson of Robinson Air Services. These planes carried a payload of 728 kilos of fertiliser. In 1954, Hamilton Company Air Parts New Zealand Limited began assembling the Fletcher aircraft under licence. Some 11 years later, they were given the world rights to assemble the aircraft from locally sourced parts. James Aviation was the first top-dressing company to use helicopters and the first to use the much larger DC-3 airplane. The DC-3 could carry a payload of 5 tonnes. Aussie had 3 in his fleet. The DC-3 on the right side of this photo is now sitting in front of this building. By the mid to late 70s, James Aviation had become the largest top-dressing company in the Southern Hemisphere, with 53 fixed-wing aircraft and 12 helicopters. Without the vision and determination of people like Aussie James, the New Zealand hill country may never have been developed. He was a true pioneer in the top dressing industry. For him, the sky really was the limit.
Got caught up with the feeling this was nationally important. We were important in the scheme of things.